Hi, welcome to this YouTube video and for our Walking Tall online courses workshop. We talk a lot in our courses about journaling, and today I want to introduce you to a really amazing way to do your journaling in a book that you have made out of papers and old books that you have, maybe from the charity stores or from your own bookcase. And in doing that, you can then work through our anxiety management course or our mindfulness courses and use your journal that you've made for the purpose to record the exercises, to record your thoughts and your feelings and what you need to have recorded for the future. So as you can see, we've got this book from the charity store. It's an old Reader's Digest. What's really important when you are going to be doing this to a book is it's a book that you no longer want to read, or it's a book that looks really well loved. There's nothing worse than using a book that you don't like the look of or the feel of. This has got like a leather texture. I'll show you what happens to it once you've done it. So this was another Reader's Digest book, and what I've done is I've taken out the centre. And during this course today, I'm going to show you how to start making the pages that will go inside the book, and then over the weeks to follow with the videos, how to put it all together. But first, obviously, I'm going to show you quickly how to just take the pages out of your book to get your beautiful binder for your new journal. Taking a craft knife, very carefully find this gap. You'll see this gap here. So with one hand here, start a little cut. And the idea is to do it very slowly, very carefully, because what you don't want to do is go through this bit here. So see how I'm pulling it apart and going down very gently. Put my finger in there to widen it up, so going down very gently. This side is actually much easier than the other side. You may be asking, what do I do with all the pages? Well, I'm an avid crafter and I'm always looking for old pages to put on tags in my scrapbooks, on my cards, and also in my mixed media projects. So you see that came quite easily away, and you've got this beautiful front of your book. I'm not going to talk too soon because I'm now doing the back, and this is the bit that's a bit harder. Some people rip it, but I find that if I rip it, I tend to rip the book. So very carefully, keeping my fingers out the way, start the process off and get these two bits back attached. There you go. So once you've got it going, it's quite easy. See how it falls apart. But again, it's a very slow process. Don't over pull, don't try and overcut, because we just don't want to damage that book. Okay. There you go, there you have it. A beautiful, now another book that I can make into a journal. And yeah, I haven't managed to damage it, so that will just be the cover of the book, and we will reinforce this bit and do lots of things to the inside, which I'll cover later. So I'm going to put that to one side, and these pages, you can see they're lovely and old aged already, and you can just tear those out, use them. Oh look, nice picture to go in, whatever you do, whether it's mixed media card making, or you can actually use these pages in your journal sections. So once we've got the book, we then are going to measure it, because this is the size of our paper. So I go from this border here and just use the border because I want to keep this orange. So I'm looking at 19 centimeters tall, or 7.5 inches tall. And we're going to take our pages from this edge here. So 5 inches this way, or I'm going to go for 12.5 centimeters. So you get your pencil and you write those measurements down. So again, 19 by 12.5. So the rule of measure twice, cut once applies. So now what you can do is put that to one side, because you're not going to need this again for a wee while. and I'm going to show you the sectionals. So I choose to put 4 sections in each book, and the sections means the grouping of papers that go together into one section, and I've got 4 sections here. I'm going to take you through what I've done. So I am a scrapbooker, so I have a lot of 12 by 12 papers left over, and sometimes you've got one sheet and you don't know what to do with it. This is a great thing to do with it, is to put it into your journal. I usually find a 12 by 12 to make the front cover of each section because it helps to keep them together. And I don't want to waste any of my paper, so I fold it in half this way, make my score crease line. And then for this one particularly, I love this, but I love the picture. So what I've done is I'm going to make a pocket to go in the front of each of the back. So when we come to stick it, each of these sides will be stuck down, and then scoring. So that's my first page where I'm going to put lots of papers inside. You ask then, is it big enough? Plenty big enough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build all my sections, and then I will take my measurements and I will then pencil 12.5 here and here, and I hold it in the book just to make sure I've got the right size, and draw down here very lightly because I don't want the pencil to be seen. And then we will take, oh dear, I wanted this to be, oh that's right, yes, 12.5 that way, and then lengthwise we want 19. So I want to keep this intact, I don't want to cut it, so I'm going to go 19 this way. So again, I'm going to make sure I've got a straight line by marking it twice. Can't see it, there it is. Okay. So now I've got my markings out, and because I have a nice big guillotine, I won't actually cut each one individually. I will cut the whole lot of pages at one time so they all cut together. So here we go. So I'm going to show you what I did. So this is a 12 by 12. Then what I've done is I've taken some matte gel medium and a normal paintbrush, and I've taken this recycled paper that we used to have in school. It's called a school pad here in New Zealand, but obviously you get different things. And because I wanted to do a journal, I wanted a lot of writing paper in my journal. So what I've done is I've taken out a sheet and I've taken my edges. Then I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so I have a lot of old catalogues left over, and I'm never going to throw away old catalogues. And so what I'm going to do now is I take my gel medium, and I know that the page is going to be this way because I'm going to fold it in half this way. And I'm going to put some gel medium over here, stick this on, so I've got some lines. Doesn't have to be in the middle, it can be over to one side, and you can do other things here. That sticks down, and then what you get once you've done that is you get this. And what I really like about this is when it dries, it goes a little bit crunchy, and I've put paper on the back and front, and I've kept some of the bits on here, so that makes another page. So then I put that into the first page I've made. This next page was another piece of 12 by 12. I've folded it in half, and then I've cut it in half. So I'm going to put one of those in there. So the writing's this side, but I've got a nice piece to write all over here. This piece was an old calendar that I kept the notes side, and I've cut them in half, folded them in half, and then put that in. And here, I know the line's going the wrong way, but I can turn it round and write this way. And then again, I've got a blank piece of paper. I then have another piece of 12 by 12, folded in half, and then cut in half to go in there. And then I've got I think this was the cover of a kit with lots of different paper, and I've kept the front, and again, I've cut it in half, folded it in half. Nice areas to write on. And then I don't know if you noticed, remember I tore the top and bottoms off the paper. And rather than waste them, what I've done is I've gel mediumed the middle of here and I've stuck these on. So when I come to put this one on, I've got another 2 bits to stick in there. And then I've stuck them on the back as well, and then folded it in half and put it in. Then what you're going to do is tap it down, and as you can see, some of it overlaps, but what you've got now is, if you've got a really good guillotine, I can then take this line here and this line here and I can cut them, and then they'll be ready to go. So that's one section of your book. So just to show you what else I've got 4 sections here. And like I say, I've taken a really good quality 12 by 12 paper. This one's embossed. I fold it in half and then put a pocket in it. I've then used the other half of that one, half of that one, half that one. I had some of this beautiful paper left over. It's really thick cardboard and it's got a bling on it. So I can colour these in and do some colouring in mindfully. And then on here I've got writing. Some more of the paper that I've stuck down. So that's another one. And then I will mark those up and cut them. This paper I decided to do the pockets on the inside. And again, nice piece of paper. Oh, I had some star 12 by 12. And again, a lot of these papers that you get, often the cheaper ones have nothing on the back, but actually for this process they're really good because you can write on the back. And here you can stick a photo or just even get your scraps of writing paper on there. Another piece of that calendar did really well. Obviously I didn't write notes during the year. Oh, this is a 12 by 12, cut in half and folded in half. This was a piece of scrap that I had left over from a project. And then again, some of that paper stuck on in there. And then again, I'll mark out and cut. Oh, I found this bit of leftover and I folded it in half and glued it and thought I might make something with it as a tag, which hopefully as the process goes on, I can show you more of. But again, my final piece of 12 by 12, really love this too. This was the last sheet of this left. For those of you that scrapbook, we often have pieces left that we don't want to use because they're so beautiful. We think, oh, we'll never get that again. I must save it for something special. This is a great opportunity to use those very special pieces of paper you're saving, because this book is going to be with you forever. It's probably going to have some very personal things in it and some very motivational things. So hopefully you can go into your stash if you are a scrapbooker like me with a large stash and find some really beautiful paper. And this one I've decided to turn it outwards because I love this brick effect, and on the inside a brick effect. And then you can see I've used the stars, the calendar, the 12 by 12. This was that piece of scrap left over from the paper set. And then I've done this one I actually decided to put the full piece of paper on the front and then thought, oh, I don't want to write on it that way. So what I've done was folded it in half and then thought that's way too long. Oh, I can do a pocket. So now all of a sudden I've got this writing area on both of these sides. I've got these cute little monkeys from a Stampin' Up catalogue. And then I've got the paper on here. So again, there's a great opportunity there. So as you can see, every bit of paper is a different size, different place. So this is where you start. You make your 4 sectionals out of all your different pieces of paper. You create your book by taking out the center. You can then mark up your size of front of your book, and then you'll cut these out, and then they will all then eventually go into the book and form your book beautifully. And obviously when you stick things in, you can decorate them and put all things in. It will be quite big. So I'm going to finish here by encouraging you to go away and start maybe looking for a book to journal in, maybe finding some papers. If you don't have papers, you can go to old magazines, you can rip those up. Definitely go to your stationery shops. They will have these recycle pads. You can also buy from your charity stores old music sheets, photograph books, anything really from the $2 shop or the charity stores are really good. And then if you're like me, you're a consultant for a company that you sell things for, all the old catalogues can be cut up and put in as well. So that's the end of this video and the start of the process to make your journal.